Hi guys, welcome to the tutorial in which we are going to look at the components of emotional intelligence, or EI, in business. Now, emotional intelligence is incredibly important in business because business is fundamentally the management of human relationships. They end up making money, but it is about human relationships. So emotional intelligence is very, very important. So the definition of emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions, as well as recognize and influence the emotions of others. The core idea is that emotional intelligence connects emotions with decision making and communication, helping leaders respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Key vocabulary that we associate with this topic would be terms like self-awareness, empathy, interpersonal skills, emotional regulation. All these things that, generally speaking, are essential for effective leadership. Practical example of this would be a manager who notices early signs of team frustration and is able to address the issue promptly, preventing drops in morale and productivity. So it's about recognizing the potential problem and then also having the ability to act on it in a successful way. Why this all matters: understanding and managing emotions improves workplace relationships and supports better outcomes in team collaboration and leadership. And why it applies particularly to leaders is, well, as we mentioned before, better team morale. Leaders with high emotional intelligence create a supportive atmosphere where team members feel valued, motivated, and understood, leading to increased job satisfaction and engagement and better retention in the long term too. It will generally lead to higher performance. Emotionally intelligent leaders inspire and guide their teams effectively, managing stress and emotions to maintain focus and drive superior results. Hopefully leads to stronger relationships. Emotional intelligence helps leaders build trust and rapport with teams and with stakeholders, fostering collaboration and open communication, essential for success. And by an extension of that, reduce conflict. By recognizing and managing emotions, leaders can resolve disputes constructively and prevent misunderstandings, creating a more harmonious work environment. So there are 4 key components of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, relationship management. So as I said a moment ago, it's about how you feel and recognizing how you feel, and also recognizing how other people feel. Self-awareness is recognizing your own emotions and understanding what triggers them to manage your responses better. Self-regulation is controlling emotional reactions and staying composed during challenging situations to respond thoughtfully. Social awareness is perceiving and understanding others' emotions to build empathy and stronger interpersonal connections. And relationship management is influencing and connecting with others by fostering trust, collaboration, and effective communication. So it's about being aware of yourself and managing that accordingly, being aware of other people and managing that accordingly. Looking at each one of these in a little bit more depth. So the definition of self-awareness means that you recognize your own emotions, strengths, and weaknesses, and how these affect others around you. So phrases might associate with this: I realize I've noticed that when I'm under pressure, these are these kind of self-aware sentences we can use to describe our own behavior. A practical example would be a manager noticing stress affecting their tone, kind of just their communication style, to maintain positive interactions. So you can think about what emotions affect your communication the most at work. Are you aware that your emotions affect your communication? It's often important to just take a moment and not react or speak in the way that instinctively you would if that is being driven by emotion. Self-regulation is to do with the ability to manage your emotions and reactions, especially under pressure, maintaining control and calmness. Leaders who self-regulate think before reacting, stay professional during conflicts, and manage stress positively to maintain effective leadership. Important vocabulary we associate with this would be things like restraint, composure, adaptability, and professionalism. So for example, instead of saying this is unacceptable, we can say let's explore what went wrong and how we can fix it, so the other person doesn't feel attacked. Practicing self-regulation helps leaders build trust, reduce conflict, and make clearer decisions, fostering a positive workplace culture. Social awareness. We're essentially talking about empathy here. Understanding others' emotions, perspectives, and needs to respond appropriately in leadership situations. For leaders, that would be things like being able to read nonverbal cues, recognizing stress or disengagement, and being sensitive to cultural differences within teams. Key vocabulary associated with this: phrases like empathy, awareness, compassion, perspective taking. For example, I can see this situation is frustrating. How can we make it easier? So you're recognizing that your member of staff is having a hard time with whatever it is they're doing. You're saying we, the team, I and you at least, and maybe others, and make it easier offers the possibility of a solution or assistance. And what this does, it links cross-cultural leadership and feedback skills, enhancing effective team collaboration in diverse environments. This is really important it's important everywhere, but it's perhaps more challenging in an international environment where you might have to interpret ways of behaving or reactions that are different to what you are used to in your culture, in your environment. So we're talking about an international context. It's very important and very challenging to be socially aware of an international team. Relationship management is to do with building trust and rapport. Leaders create strong connections by being honest, reliable, and approachable, which fosters collaboration and open communication. Resolving conflict constructively addresses disagreements calmly and fairly to find solutions that respect all viewpoints and maintain team harmony. Giving feedback effectively provide clear, constructive, and timely feedback that encourages growth and motivates improvement. Motivating and inspiring teams use encouragement, recognition, and shared goals to energize teams and drive collective success. How do we build our emotional intelligence? Because it's not typically something you study, unless you took psychology maybe. Daily self-reflection. Consistently ask yourself what went well and what could be improved to build self-awareness and adapt your emotional responses effectively. Ask for feedback. Request honest feedback on your communication style and emotional impact to identify blind spots and areas for growth. Develop active listening. Focus fully on understanding others' messages without preparing your reply, which strengthens rapport and social awareness. Show empathy. Recognize and acknowledge others' emotions before responding to foster trust and positive relationships. I think some people have maybe more of a talent or an instinct for emotional intelligence. For others, it's going to be more of a challenge for us as we take maybe a more disciplined and academic approach to developing our emotional intelligence skills. Key takeaways. Communicate with empathy. Leaders use emotional intelligence to understand and share the feelings of others, fostering open and compassionate communication, which strengthens team bonds. Manage stress in relationships. Emotional intelligence equips leaders to handle pressure calmly and maintain healthy professional relationships, reducing conflict and promoting a positive work environment. Build trust and influence. By demonstrating emotional awareness and consistency, leaders build trust and inspire others, enhancing their ability to lead and influence effectively. 4 key areas. The 4 key components of emotional intelligence, going back to those: self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, and relationship management. And something for you guys to think about. Consider which of the 4 areas of emotional intelligence, self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, relationship management, you want to develop most. Maybe that you think you need to develop most to strengthen your leadership skills. Which of these would you like to improve? Thanks very much, guys. I'll see you in the next tutorial.